You're listening to The Jacob Valk Show. He's breaking down the latest and greatest in sports as only he can. Follow him on Twitter at RealJacobValk. Here he is, Jacob Valk.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to another edition of the Jacob Valk Show. I am Jacob Valk, and I have to start by recapping the drubbing that was Pacers-Wizards. You remember yesterday when I said that I was concerned that the Pacers wouldn't come out with that same fire in their stomach that they had on Tuesday? They played with that same intensity in the first quarter, but then in the second and third quarters, forget about it. They lost focus. They thought that their you-know-what didn't stink, and they thought they were going to coast to the 8th seed. That's not how it works. As much as I don't like Russell Westbrook, the guy plays with a fire under his ass. He is always motivated. He's always going to give 100%. If you take your foot off the gas even just a little bit when you're going up against a Russell Westbrook team, he'll make you pay. I mean, Westbrook was really good. He nearly had a triple-double. 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 15 assists. Bradley Beal had 25 points. The Wizards were unconscious. They played like the Pacers on Tuesday. The Wizards shot 58% from the field. 50% from beyond the arc. The Wizards led by as much as 38 points. That is inexcusable. I mean, here's what bothers me. You see what the Hornets did on Tuesday. You're the ones who did it to them. And you play like they did. That's a bad job by Nate Bjorkgren. There have been rumors that he could be on the hot seat. Winning cures everything, so if the Pacers could have won these 2 games, it would have been tough to say that Bjorkgren should go. Now, after that performance yesterday, it does open up that possibility. I mean, you can't have 6 Wizards score in the double figures and expect to win. Westbrook with 18, Beal with 25, Rui Hachimura with 18, Raul Neto with 14, Daniel Gafford off the bench had a double-double, 15 points and 13 rebounds. Anthony Gill, in 6 minutes of garbage time, had 10 points. I mean, that's ridiculous. An absolutely dismal performance by the Pacers defensively. Hallelujah, Malcolm Brogdon had 24 points. Hallelujah, Domantas Sabonis had a triple-double. Fantastic. He ended up fouling out of the game and turning the ball over 5 times. It's hard to get excited about that. I give Russell Westbrook credit. He does have these moments where he can take over games. You know what? This was a must-win game, and he played really well. I give him credit. And now they get to go up against the 76ers in what will be an absolute rout, and will prove once again that Russell Westbrook's game is not conducive to winning basketball. No one ever said that a Russell Westbrook team couldn't make the playoffs. Did I think the Pacers were going to win yesterday? The answer is yes. But if you wanted to slam your fist on the table and say that Westbrook is going to win this game, okay. Wouldn't have hated it. But in terms of going on big runs, Westbrook can't do that. His game just isn't conducive to it. It's going to be a rout. Moving on now to Grizzlies Warriors. If the Grizzlies are going to win this game, they've got to do two things. Number one, shoot better from the free throw line. You can't miss 46% of your free throws and expect to win. Usually that doesn't work. I mean, the Spurs weren't a good team, so you can get away with it. But the Warriors are a good team. That's not going to work against them. You got to do better from the charity stripe. The second thing, if you get out to a big lead, don't squander it. I know that's the obvious statement of the year. But if you're up by 21, at any point in this game, you cannot allow the Warriors to come back. Are you going to always be up by 21? No. But you got to realize, against the Spurs, the Grizzlies gave up the lead with like 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Yes, the Grizzlies got it back, but again, the Warriors are such a better team than the Spurs that if the Grizzlies play like they did against the Spurs, they will lose this game. You've got to have that killer instinct. You've got to make your free throws. I think there are going to be a lot of NBA fans rooting for the Grizzlies. Think about this potential playoff matchup for a minute. Jazz versus Grizzlies. How fun would that be? Two young and exciting teams going at it. You never see these teams on national television. Now the networks will be forced to show them, and you're going to see how good these teams really are. At the end of the day, you do get sick of seeing the same teams in the playoffs over and over and over again. It would be nice to get some new blood. Nothing against the Warriors. I have nothing against them. I have nothing against Steph Curry. I have nothing against Andrew Wiggins. In fact, I really like Wiggins. But I am going to be rooting for the Grizzlies. I'm going to be rooting for some new blood in the playoffs. If the Warriors are going to win this game, I'm going to stick with what I said on Wednesday. Andrew Wiggins really needs to step up. As great as Steph Curry is, and I'm not knocking Steph, okay? Really like Steph. Best shooter in NBA history. MVP finalist. But he can't do it all himself. This is a Grizzlies team that has multiple guys that can kill you. Jonas Valanciunas, Ja Morant, Dylan Brooks, and Jaren Jackson. It's up to Wiggins, the second best Golden State Warrior, to help alleviate some of that pressure off Steph. He did it on Wednesday. He scored 21 points. Give him credit. I thought he played well. But he's got to keep that up if the Warriors are going to win tonight. But ultimately, I think the Grizzlies just have more ways to beat you. Maybe I'm letting my biases cloud my judgment, but I think the Grizzlies have a great chance of winning this game. It wouldn't surprise me if the Warriors won. They're a very talented team. There's no question about that. But I've got to go with the Grizzlies. You may have noticed that I'm not giving any playoff predictions yet. That's because we don't know one of the matchups. Obviously, we don't know who the Jazz are going to face. So I don't want to be disjointed with it. We're not going to know who's going to go up against the Jazz until like 11:30 at night. So here's what I'm going to do. Saturday at high noon, you're going to get an NBA Conference Quarterfinals preview, where I'm going to make my picks for all 8 matchups, tell you the keys to victory, do all that fun stuff. That's the right way to do it. I said that earlier in the week. I'll repeat it. However, there is something else that I can do with the NBA, and it's something that I love doing. NBA Awards predictions. The NBA released the finalists for their 6 big end-of-season awards. I'm not going to do Defensive Player of the Year. I really don't get too into that. I know that I should. I just don't. I'm sorry. I think it's between Gobert and Simmons. If Draymond wins it, I'll be very upset, but I think it's between Gobert and Simmons. I'll make it up to you, though. Even though the NBA didn't announce finalists for Executive of the Year, I'll make a pick for Executive of the Year. But I'll start with MVP. The finalists are Steph Curry, Joel Embiid, and Nikola Jokic. Right off the bat, I'll knock out Embiid. He missed 21 games. He also had Ben Simmons helping him out a lot. He had Tobias Harris helping him out a lot. I just don't think Embiid can win it. He had a great season, but not MVP level. So it's between Steph Curry and Nikola Jokic. Ultimately, I've got to give it to Curry. Without him, the Warriors aren't in the play-in tournament. They're not sniffing the playoffs. Andrew Wiggins is good, but you can't lead a team to a playoff berth by himself. Kelly Oubre had a really disappointing year. James Wiseman was good, but he missed almost half the season. Klay Thompson missed the whole season. Again. Without Steph, the Warriors are dead to the world. They're a lottery team. It's not even close. Curry won the scoring title for the 2nd time in his career. I just think that's better than what Jokic did. See, here's the thing with Jokic. The reason that he's a finalist is because Jamal Murray got hurt. And yeah, Jokic stepped up his game when Murray got hurt. Okay, there's no question about that. He took on more of a point center role. I get that. But in essence, I'd be giving Jokic the MVP based off of 24 games. I can't do that. As great as Jokic is, and he is great, I love watching him play, my vote needs to go to Steph Curry. Moving on now to Rookie of the Year. The finalists are LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards, and Tyrese Halliburton. This is really between LaMelo and Edwards. Nothing against Halliburton. He had a really good rookie season, but just not as good as Ball and Edwards. It's just that simple. Edwards played in every game. I like that. Got off to a little bit of a rocky start, but as the season progressed, he got a lot better. He finished with 19.3 points per game, 4.7 rebounds per game, and 2.9 assists per game. He shot 41.7% from the field and 32.9% from beyond the arc. That's a really good rookie season. Meanwhile, you look at LaMelo, he missed 21 games, averaged less points per game, 15.7, but shot the ball more efficiently, was better defensively, grabbed more rebounds, and dished out more assists. I mean, it comes down to this. Do you value Anthony Edwards' scoring and durability more than you value LaMelo's all-around game and the fact that he played for a Hornets team that made the play-in tournament? Ultimately, I value the all-around game more. What pushes Ball to the top for me is that even though Edwards put up more points per game, Ball shot the ball more efficiently. No pun intended. 43.6% from the field and 35.2% from beyond the arc. I've got to cast my vote for LaMelo. Moving on now to Most Improved Player. The finalists there are Jeremy Grant, Michael Porter Jr., and Julius Randle. I mean, this is tough. This is closer than Knicks fans would have you believe. Jeremy Grant went from averaging 12 points per game to 22.3. That's impressive. Michael Porter went from averaging 9.3 points per game to 19 points per game. Randall didn't have that type of a jump. He had a jump, 19.5 to 24.1, but that's not as impressive as Grant and Porter. But here's why Randall wins it. For the Nuggets, Grant was averaging 26.6 minutes per game. With the Pistons, he averaged 33.9. That's a 7-minute per game increase. Michael Porter Jr. had a 15-minute per game increase. Yeah, their stats are going to go up because of that. Grant actually shot the ball less efficiently this year than he did last year. Now, Randall had a minutes per game increase too, but it was only by 5 minutes. He averaged a double-double, was an all-star, by far and away was the best player for the Knicks, a team that got the 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. Julius Randle is the most improved player in the NBA, and the Knicks need to lock him up long term. I don't know if he's going to be willing to sign an extension this offseason, but when the time comes, the Knicks better re-sign him. Moving on now to Sixth Man of the Year. The finalists there are Jordan Clarkson, Joe Ingles, and Derrick Rose. It's kind of interesting that we have two members of the Jazz going up against one member of the Knicks. Ingles is a lethal three-point shooter, but there are a lot of really good three-point shooters that come off the bench. Landry Shamet comes to mind. Is Ingles better than Shamet? The answer is yes. But I don't think I can give Sixth Man of the Year to a microwave three-point shooter. So it's between Clarkson and Rose. Let's compare the stats. Clarkson had 18.4 points per game this year, 4 rebounds per game, and 2.5 assists per game. He shot 42.5% from the field and 34.7% from beyond the arc. Meanwhile, Derrick Rose averaged 14.7 points per game, 2.6 rebounds per game, and 4.2 assists per game. He shot 47% from the field and 38.8% from beyond the arc. There is no question that Rose was the more efficient scorer, and he played a huge role for the Knicks. I mean, the Knicks have had bad point guard play all year besides Rose. Elfrid Payton is useless. Frank Ntilikina's a bust. Thibodeau tried running Emmanuel Quickley at the 1. He's more of a 2. Without Rose, it's fair to wonder if the Knicks are the 4 seed. That was a great trade by Leon Rose. There's no question about that. Tibbs loves Rose. Rose loves playing for Tibbs. That chemistry is evident. But Clarkson just adds such a different dynamic to that Jazz team. He's such a great bench scorer. I mean, it's close. It's really, really close. This is 51-49. Ultimately, I like that Clarkson scored more points. I like that Clarkson played for a better team. And you gotta realize something. Clarkson made his case for Sixth Man of the Year all season. Rose started out with the Pistons. If he had stayed with the Pistons, he's not in this conversation. I mean, Rose only played 35 games for the Knicks. You know how many games Clarkson played for the Jazz? 68. It's very, very close, but I've got to go with Jordan Clarkson. Moving on now to Coach of the Year. The finalists there are Quinn Snyder, Tom Thibodeau, and Monty Williams. This is a two-man race between Tibbs and Williams. They're very similar candidates. Both these guys turned around dismal teams. The Knicks were a laughingstock. Now they're the 4 seed. The Suns were a laughingstock. Now they're the 2 seed. It's very, very close. But here's the thing. The Knicks finished 41-31. Really good record. No question about that. The Suns finished 51-21. That's 10 games better. The Suns got the 2 seed, the Knicks got the 4 seed. The 2 seed is better than the 4 seed. I've said this before, that Monty Williams should be the coach of the year. Tibbs is going to get votes. It's going to be a close race. The headline for these awards was that the Jazz dominated. The Knicks are there too. The Knicks got nominated 3 times and they have a great case for all of those awards. The Jazz got nominated 4 times. They don't have a great case for Coach of the Year. I give the Knicks a ton of credit, but Monty Williams needs to be the Coach of the Year. And I will do Executive of the Year, even though the NBA didn't release finalists for that. There are a bunch of deserving guys. Daryl Morey, Sean Marks, Leon Rose, James Jones, general manager for the Suns, Tim Connolly, president of the Nuggets. But I've got to give the award to Sean Marks. The guy traded for James Harden. Without that trade, the Nets would have been in the play-in tournament. He signed Jeff Green. He signed Blake Griffin. He traded for Bruce Brown. He traded for Landry Shamet. In terms of the marquee moves that those 5 guys made, Morey, Marks, Rose, Jones, and Connolly, the trade of James Harden was the most monumental. It's more important than Daryl Morey adding all those shooters to a Sixers team that desperately needed it. It's more important than Leon Rose hiring Tom Thibodeau and trading for Derrick Rose and drafting Emmanuel Quickley too. It's more important than James Jones trading for Chris Paul, and it's more important than Tim Connolly trading for Aaron Gordon. Nothing against all those other moves, but the Harden trade was much more monumental. That's the difference between the Nets being a 7 or 10 seed versus the 2 seed. Without James Harden, the Nets aren't title favorites. The NBA's Executive of the Year has to be Sean Marks. Alright, now I'll give you some NHL Valk talk. And it's time to recap yesterday's 4 playoff games. I'll start with Panthers Lightning. An absolute roller coaster. The Panthers are up 2-0 after 1. And you're thinking, yeah, you know what? They're not going to go down without a fight. Jacob was right. Chris Drieger's really good. He nailed this game. Good job by him. Then it's like that scene from Anchorman. Wow. That escalated really quickly. The Lightning scored 5 goals in the second period. Now the Panthers scored 1, so it was 5-3 Lightning headed into the third period. Sergei Bobrovsky started the third period for the Panthers. Drieger got pulled. That was the right decision. I think Joel Quenneville has coached this series correctly. Regardless of what happens, I think he's done the right things. Then the third period hits. Andrei Vasilevsky blows the 2-goal lead in the third period. The Panthers tie it up. They win it in overtime on a goal by Ryan Lomberg. Are you kidding me? If you had Ryan Lomberg in your Bucci overtime challenge, God bless you. This guy's a goon more than anything else. He ends up scoring the overtime winner. Keeps the Panthers alive in this series. I mean, it was a great play by the Panthers. 2 great outlet passes, and Lomberg just sniped it past Vasilevsky. Give him full credit. But we've got a series now. It seemed like the Lightning were going to go up 3-0 after 2 periods. And you know that in Game 4, the Panthers would have been dead. Now, it's 2-1. It's completely different. This can be a demoralizing loss for the Lightning. They don't handle those types of losses well. Remember what happened in 2019. They had that devastating loss to the Blue Jackets in Game 1. Then the Blue Jackets steamrolled them. An inferior Blue Jackets team beat a superior Lightning team. It's going to be up to John Cooper to show that he can calm his guys down. And I'll say this to both teams. Don't take so many penalties. The Panthers converted both of their power play opportunities. The Lightning went 2 for 3 on the power play. I know that this has been a very physical series. It's been exciting. But at the end of the day, you've got to be more disciplined. And I'll say this. I'd have half a mind to start Spencer Knight tomorrow. You can't start Drieger. Can you trust Bobrovsky for a full game? I don't know. I feel like I would go with Spencer Knight. Yeah, you know what? I'm calling for it. Spencer Knight should start Game 4. Alright, I guess I have to talk about Penguins Islanders, even though I really don't want to. Oh my God. I'm still not over it. It's been over 12 hours, and I'm still not over it. I mean, how do you lose that game? Come on! Oh, you've got to be kidding me! You tie the game in the third period twice! Twice! You can't even get it to overtime. It's one thing if you're going to lose in overtime, okay? You know, I get that. But you've got to get it there. Semyon Varlamov, what the hell are you doing? He's done. Game 4, Sorokin needs to be in net. At the end of the day, both of these losses, Varlamov started. The win, Sorokin started. It's got to be Sorokin. If it's not Sorokin, Barry Trotz needs to answer a lot of questions. Look, when you come back in the third period twice, you overcome a 2-goal lead in the third, then a lead with under 6 minutes left. You deserve to win that game. You just do. But you've got Varlamov allowing these cheap goals. The first goal again was a cheapie. The Letang goal, that was from a long ways out. Varley never saw it. How do you not see that? It was barely onside, for the love of God. Even the Carter goal that made it 2-1. you'd expect Varley to save. The Zucker goal, I'm not going to get on Varley for. Everything else, though, I am. You've just got to shut the door. I'm sorry. The Islanders tie the game at 3. The crowd is back into it. Okay, yeah. The Penguins are on a power play, but that's still a really tough angle for Carter. How did he snipe that in? How do you allow that? 3.5 minutes left. You've got to get over and stop that Tanev deflection. I'm sorry, you just do. I slammed my head on the ground and said a word that I really can't say right now. Oh, leaving the Coliseum, I was ticked off. That's one thing I didn't miss. Leaving the Coliseum with a bunch of fans. A bunch of fans that aren't paying attention to their surroundings. Very easy to run them over. I didn't, but whew. If you're not on your toes as a driver, getting out of that parking lot, it's very easy to get into an accident. Here's hoping the UBS Arena is better. Look, Barry Trotz needs to make some changes. Jordan Eberle was absolutely invisible. Barzell still hasn't been playing great. He got 2 assists, but I'd like him to do a little bit more. The second line has been god-awful. The third line has been solid. The fourth line is the best line for the Islanders. It's like the Capitals. Ryan Pulock is useless. Noah Dobson is useless. You know what? Put Braden Coburn in. You traded for him because of his veteran presence. He's only played 3 games for the Islanders. It's time. Dobson can't handle it. Put in Coburn. And for the love of God, start Ilya Sorokin. That's the toughest loss I've seen the Islanders have in a long time. Moving on now to Canadiens Maple Leafs. And the big story here is John Tavares being out indefinitely. He got kneed by Corey Perry, and I'm telling you, Tavares didn't know what year it was. It was completely accidental. Ben Sherratt laid a nice hit on Tavares, but Corey Perry just didn't see it. He's skating up ice, and then he knees Tavares right in the temple. All you have to do is watch the video. You can see that Tavares just doesn't know what year it is. He thought he was back with the Islanders. Again, it's completely accidental, but my God, that is a scary injury. Think whatever you want about John Tavares, but your thoughts and prayers have to go out to him. Unfortunately for the Leafs, they couldn't harness that into a victory. Both goalies stood on their head, Carey Price and Jack Campbell. But at the end of the day, Price is better than Campbell. As much as I like Campbell, Price is just better. I will say this, though. The Josh Anderson goal really wasn't Campbell's fault. That was just a bad job by a bad Maple Leafs defense. I told you that I wasn't thrilled with the Leafs defense. It did scare me, and you saw it on the Anderson goal. The Leafs did tie it. William Nylander on a nice little garbage goal. Nothing wrong with that. Get in front of the net. You never know what'll happen. But then late in the game, you had two things. Carey Price with an absolutely unbelievable save on Mitch Marner. I don't know how he stopped that puck. And then Paul Byron scored a shorty. Joe Thornton just lost the puck. Byron beats Rasmus Sandin to the puck. Sandin ends up tripping Byron. I mean, that would have been a penalty shot if Byron didn't score. Sandin did the right thing. But still, though, to give up a shorty, that's tough. Great individual effort by Byron, don't get me wrong. But that's one that Jack Campbell should have saved. He just missed on the poke check. Look, as good as Jack Campbell has been, and as much as I like him, in low-scoring games, the Canadiens have the edge. Moving on now to Golden Knights Wild. And I don't know what happened in the locker room after the first period, but someone must have lit a fire under these guys' asses. Someone must have stood up and given a Herb Brooks-like speech. Because after being down 2-0 after one, the Golden Knights thoroughly outplayed the Wild. It was like an NHL team going up against a Pee-wee football team. You know how many shots the Wild had in the second and third periods combined? 9. The Golden Knights had 22 shots in the second period and 14 shots in the third period. The Wild just looked dead to the world. If I was a Wild fan, I'd be really ticked off. That's an inexcusable performance. I mean, give the Golden Knights credit. They're finally supporting Marc-Andre Fleury. That was an incredible win, make no mistake about it. Incredibly convincing, incredibly dominant. But I think the bigger story is the Wild just no-showing. Inexcusable performance in the last 40 minutes. That was a combination of the Golden Knights being motivated and the Wild looking dead to the world. But now it's time to preview tonight's 4 NHL games. I'll start with Capitals Bruins. A really, really fun series. All 3 of these games have gone into overtime. It's been an incredibly exciting series. If the Capitals are going to win, they've got to get more production from their key guys. Not necessarily Ovechkin. Ovechkin's doing what you want him to do. Not Anthony Mantha, not TJ Oshie. But I'm talking guys like Evgeny Kuznetsov, Nicholas Backstrom, John Carlson, Zdeno Chara. These guys need to step up. It's great that the fourth line is contributing. Garnet Hathaway and Nick Dowd are playing fantastic hockey, but I want to see the marquee guys step up more. As for the Bruins, I really don't think you need to change much. You've got the best forward core in hockey contributing. Tuukka Rask has been standing on his head. I wish I could say more, but I can't make anything up. I think the Bruins are just playing fantastic hockey. And I do think they're going to put a stranglehold on this series tonight. I don't think it's going to go into overtime, but the Bruins are going to win. Moving on now to Hurricanes Predators. And again, I hate to be so cliche, I hate to be so obvious, but the Hurricanes are just thoroughly outplaying the Predators. They don't need to change much. Alex Nedeljkovic looks like the second coming of Cam Ward. He's got to keep that up. Jacob Slavin being out, I thought would hurt the Hurricanes. It hasn't. Just keep doing what you're doing. I know it's obvious, I know it's cliche, but it's the truth. As for the Predators, stop being so passive on the power play. Stop working it around the outside. Stop looking for the perfect shot. Just rip it. Put pucks on net. See what's going to happen, okay? Worst comes to worst, it gets blocked. Okay, but you've got to try and make stuff happen. You're 0 for 10 on the power play in this series. That is inexcusable. I know that the Predators didn't have a good power play this year. They converted just 17.6% of their power play chances. That was tied for the 23rd best mark in the league. That's not good. But you've got to be able to kick it up a notch in the playoffs. The Predators have not done that. That is why they are losing in this series. Get low shots on the net, force rebounds, stop being so passive, stop looking for the perfect shot, just put pucks on net. All in all, it's hard for me to see the Hurricanes losing a game in this series. They've just outplayed the Predators tremendously. I have to pick the Canes. Moving on now to Jets-Oilers. If the Jets are going to win, I want them to get more production from their top guys. You take a look at the two non-empty net goals that were scored on Wednesday. It was by Tucker Poolman and Dominic Toninato. Tucker Poolman played 39 games in the regular season for the Jets. He only had 1 assist. Toninato only played 2 games for the Jets. Guys like Mark Scheifele, Kyle Connor, Nick Ehlers, Blake Wheeler, Andrew Kopp, Neil Pionk, and Paul Stastny need to step up. Obviously not all of them. I'm not expecting a 10-0 win. But some of those guys need to step up. It's just that simple. As for the Oilers, they need to do 2 things. Number 1, find ways to get McDavid and Draisaitl more involved. This isn't hard, okay? These are 2 of the best players in hockey. But the Jets did a fantastic job of clamping down on those guys. Draisaitl and McDavid were both -2s on Wednesday. You can't win like that if you're the Oilers. It shouldn't be hard for Dave Tippett to get these guys going, and I think he will. Number 2 is a little harder for anyone to control except the man himself, and that's Mike Smith. He's got to play better. The guy faced 20 shots and allowed 2 goals. That's not going to work. Again, Pullman and Toninato, those are the guys that are beating you? Come on. Mike Smith needs to step up. The Oilers really don't have a great backup. Mikko Koskinen did not play well this year. He went 13-13 with a 3.17 goals against and an .899 save percentage. Smith is better. He needs to play like it. And you know what? I think he will. I think the Oilers are the better team. I'm going to pick them to win tonight. The last game to talk about is Avalanche Blues. If the Avalanche are going to win, they need to keep up the pressure on Jordan Binnington. Binnington was exhausted in Game 2. The guy stood on his head in Game 1. Still got the loss. In Game 2, he was gassed. You could see it. If you're the Avalanche, you've got to take advantage of that. Keep up the pressure. As for the Blues, you've got to keep the puck in the Avalanche zone. Okay, Philip Grubauer is beatable. You may not have thought that he was, but he is. He put up 3 goals against him. I mean, watching that game on Wednesday, did you ever think that the Blues were going to win? The answer is no, but if you want to be very technical about it, they had a chance to win. Okay, it's really simple. The Blues need to have a strong forecheck, dump and chase, force the Avalanche into making mistakes, and you can win this game. But all in all, the way that this series has gone, I can't confidently pick the Blues. This is looking like a sweep. I've got to go with the Avalanche. NBA playoffs preview comes your way tomorrow at high noon. New York Yankees show comes your way Monday night. Regular episodes of the Jacob Valk show come your way every weekday afternoon. Until next time, I am Jacob Valk saying that I don't hold grudges. If I did, I'd hate all the teams in the American League.